Hi, my name is Jordan Rifiak, and this is my presentation for Knies 77A, focusing on the issue of dropout in youth sports. Participation in youth physical activity, not just sports, is an important factor that correlates to adult physical activity. According to an article on ESPN, there is roughly 21.5 million kids between the ages of 6 and 17 playing team sports. Of those 21.5 million, roughly 45% of students surveyed who started a sport ended up quitting. The main reason those students gave for quitting is that they were not having fun. However, of that original 45%, 33% of the students had restarted a sport they had already quit. According to one study, the mean dropout rate for ages 10 to 19 years old was 23.9%, with a dropout rate for girls at 26.8% and the boys at 21.4%. So what are the real causes of dropout? One study found that 4 variables predicted dropout before the age of 10. Those 4 being lower household income, the main language being spoken at home was not English, lower parental education, and lastly, the child was not regularly taken to the sporting events. One commonly found cause of dropout included the quality of social interactions between athletes and coaches, meaning when the athlete and coach interacted positively on a regular basis, they were less likely to drop out, whereas negative interactions were more likely to result in dropout. Along with positive interactions, motivation and team climate affected by coaches' behavior can play a large role in dropout. When the team is motivated and there is a positive environment created by the coach, dropout is less likely to occur. Here are some examples of negative coaching behavior that will likely cause dropout.
I don't want winners out on the field. Who's a winner? I said, who's a winner? Everyone's hand should be up.
I am.
Okay, everyone bring it in. Who are we?
Tigers.
What?
Tigers.
All right, let's break someone's clavicle on 3. 1, 2, 3, break someone's clavicle! Hit the... Hey, if it isn't Fart-Face Jones. What's up, farty pants?
Bring it on. You can have the first punch right here. I could eat a box of cookies for dinner if I want to. What, can you do that? No, because you're a fart-faced kid.
Oh my God! No! Help me! Exxon!
What was that?
I thought I had the shot.
You thought? How many times do I have to say this? You can take as many shots as you want during practice, but never, ever in a game, especially not the championship game.
Talk about hurting other players.
You don't think? You don't think? I don't think you should be butting in when I'm talking to my team. You're my assistant, okay? You're supposed to back me up and go get me juice boxes when I tell you. Now go get me a juice box.
You know who you're talking to?
I'm talking to the juice box guy.
You're crazy.
I'm not crazy. I'm just thirsty.
Why don't you go to hell?
No, you go to hell. While you're there, why don't you grab me a juice box?
I'm no juice box boy, I'll tell you that.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. You're like your old man.
I'm not like my old
If
man.
it weren't for these kids, I would whip your butt.
I can take a punch.
I'm out of here. Bye-bye. I'll see you, Mr. Big-Time Coach. Bye-bye.
I'm not like my old man. I'm a kind and gentle, compassionate human being with a heart as big as a lion. We'll see you later, Juice Box. Everyone wave goodbye to Juice Box. Literally wave. Do it. Parents too. Everyone wave. Okay. Guys. Yes! Yes!
Nobody wants a coach like Will Ferrell in Kicking and Screaming. Therefore, it's important that coaches focus on mastery approach goals in order to ensure athlete enjoyment. When athletes are enjoying the sport, they are less likely to drop out. It's important to check in with athletes to make sure they are having fun. In a review of John O'Sullivan's book, it is noted to keep an athlete's point of view in mind. To explain this further, here is John O'Sullivan giving a TED Talk.
Well, on this particular day, there was a 10-year-old boys game right next door. And it should be just the same, right? But it was completely different. It was a competitive 10-year-old boys game. And I say competitive in quotes because it wasn't the kids who were competing harder, it was the adults. A kid makes a bad pass, the ball gets stolen and the other team scores. And then all hell breaks loose. The coach jumps off his bench. He screams at the kid and he yanks him out of the game. Next, his dad is on the other sideline screaming at him. His friend's parents, they're screaming at him. And as I'm watching this, I'm saying to myself, wow, this is exactly why children drop out of sports. Because sports is supposed to be about children playing and children having fun and learning. And none of that is happening here. Now, I want to just invite you for a moment to get into the mindset of a 10-year-old boy or any young athlete today, because it's very, very different than when I was growing up. You go to a game, and you're just going to play a game, but yet so many of the adults, they're acting like it's the World Series. They're acting like it's the NBA Finals, and you're just there to play a game. There's coaches and parents screaming at you from the sidelines. Sometimes they're screaming at you, sometimes they're screaming at the referee, sometimes they're screaming at each other. Now you get in the car after the game, and you just want to relax and emotionally unwind, and yet this is the time when so many parents choose to deconstruct your game and criticize and critique your performance. Now you sit around your kitchen table, and you hear your parents talking about the time and the financial commitment that it takes to play youth sports. Maybe you'll get a scholarship down the line to help pay for all this. And that just adds pressure and stress. And then finally, at the end of the year, the end of the season, when you're ready to move on to another sport, what happens? Your coach sits you down and says, you can't do that. You're not moving on. Because if you're going to stay on this team, you need to play year-round. And if you don't, I'm going to give your spot away. This is what so many children feel these days, this type of pressure. And that's why 7 out of 10 of them quit youth sports. 7 out of 10 are done. Now, I call this the great giant race to nowhere in youth sports. And it's a race because so many kids and so many parents were in such a hurry to do more at younger and younger ages. And I say it ends nowhere because while we tend to focus on the few athletes who get a scholarship or turn pro, the vast majority end up somewhere else. They end up hating sports. They end up with damaged relationships with their parents. And for some kids, they end up with physical and emotional scars that last a lifetime. We have to end this great race to nowhere. We have to change the game in youth sports. We have to give it back to our kids.
Looking at the other side of dropout in youth sports, are there any positives we can take away from this? One study showed that involvement in youth sports can cause a great deal of stress on the entire family unit. From financial stress to stress caused by constantly being on the go and traveling, being involved in youth sports can start to take a toll on a family. Another positive takeaway is that schools are focusing on academics rather than physical education. In some cases, physical education is seen as a hindrance to the academic time and a subject that does not bring value to the educational system. However, physical education is very important to a student's education, and youth sport involvement is crucial to a positive youth development. Positive youth development, as defined by one researcher, includes competence, confidence, connection, and character. All 4 of these constructs stem from the involvement in youth sports. However, they do not only pertain to involvement in athletics, they also are vital for everyday life. This is why dropout from youth sports is an issue. Being involved in youth sports helps create lifelong healthy habits by introducing them to regular physical activity and competition in a way that is fun and enjoyable. While there is no known way to completely avoid dropout, as a coach, there are simple ways to help foster youth involvement in sports. Those being creating a safe and positive environment for the athletes, ensuring healthy relationships with the athletes, and lastly, making youth sports fun again. In conclusion, dropout in youth sports can be caused for a number of reasons. However, as shown in recent studies, the most common reason for dropout was that athletes were not having fun anymore. Therefore, coaches should check in with their athletes more often to ensure positive interactions and know when to make changes in their coaching in order to keep their athletes happy and reduce the risk of dropout. This has been my presentation. Thank you for listening.